What if I was to tell you to not think about purple spotted oranges? What are you thinking about? Purple spotted oranges. What if I was to tell you, in this situation, do not stutter? So you stutter. I'm Chris, and I did have a bad stutter up until the age of 36. I'm now 55. Nearly 55. And I would say I've dissolved my stutter to a pretty high degree. I might have the occasional reminder, but not often. And I'm now a guitar teacher and work for an interior plantscaping company. Really, having a stutter is very hard to explain to other people, but it's a bit like a knife wound every time you make a mistake. But yet, like Groundhog Day, you keep getting another chance at it. But you keep making the same mistakes on the same sounds, in the same situations. And you can relive the whole experience the next day. It's a bit like the elephant in the room, is that everybody knows that you've got a stutter. No one's going to really say anything. And if you get stuck on a word, maybe someone will just say that word for you in an attempt to get past that and move on to the rest of whatever it was. Or you can get teased if you make mistakes, or teachers can be hard on you if you make mistakes with your pronunciation. So you start to struggle. It's literally a performance anxiety based on perceptions proved true over time, which is I always block on this name, or I always block on this word, or in a job interview I will always ... So your subconscious starts to believe it. People relate to you the way that you relate to you. So I used to present myself as if I was somebody who was kind of confident with where I was at, and sure, I had a stutter, but I wasn't letting it hold me back. That's probably what most people would have thought. Of course, it was holding me back, but they didn't know that. Yeah, it's Chris. Garrity. Garrity. G-E... I trained as a teacher back when I was young. I did a diploma of education. And although my mask was well and truly on when I was going through my teaching in my dip ed, once I actually got into a classroom for real, that's when the mask came off and there was lots of stuttering. And of course the kids would pick on me.
Hey, mister.
Mr. Gertie.
Did you say something?
Are you okay? Are you all right?
I'd be writing on the whiteboard and had my back turned to the class, and of course in the background you're hearing stit, 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 and then I'd turn around and say, just keep working, will you? And then back to writing. And I wouldn't call them up on that behaviour because I thought that, no, that's only going to make it worse. I just went straight to run away. So I spoke to the principal saying how I was quitting and that I didn't want to be there. Kids didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there. And so I went back to my old job. I was a bit fragile, a bit precious, and took it to heart, so didn't last long in teaching. I'll ask you to do something for 15 seconds. Just jam your tongue to the roof of your mouth as tight as you can and go. Feel that? Takes a bit of effort, doesn't it? Well, I'd be driving along in my van and that would just be natural. All right, that tension inside the mouth. I'd have to deliberately stop myself from having that tongue jammed up against the roof of my mouth. Why was that tension there? Oh, so it would be useful for when I would block on sounds that begin with D. So once I got rid of that tension in my tongue, all of a sudden I had no problems because the tongue would be relaxed. A couple of years into me working on my speech, a little voice inside me said, yeah, but I bet you're scared to go back to teaching, eh? Bok, bok, bok. Chicken? Huh? Chicken? Nobody calls me chicken. So I went back to teaching for a short time. I was an emergency teacher for about 6 months, 9 months, which was okay. My speech was fine. That wasn't an issue. But decided to move into guitar teaching instead. So I've been guitar teaching for 16 years. I first started playing guitar because I didn't have to open my mouth. And I think possibly as this interview is showing that I haven't really got much of a problem communicating anymore. If for a stammerer, not stammering was Mount Everest, I've certainly been up to the top.